Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming. Hope you have had a great week. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys a few things that I got in consignment. I'm going to show you guys some stuff I got back from CGC. And then I'm going to show you what I've been buying. If we get a chance, I might talk about the market a little bit as well. I know I haven't had a video since the one with my daughter. And I do apologize for you guys not being able to comment in that video. I thought it might be smart of me to label it as made for kids since it had my daughter in the title. And then, of course, it was about her and her returns as she's a kid. Now, I don't know if I'm actually supposed to put it that way since my audience is still going to be pretty much not kids. And it's not like it's reaching out to a bunch of kids, in that kind of video. But anyways, yeah, I do apologize you couldn't comment on that video. Maybe next time I'll just leave the settings as they are and, just see how it goes. This way comments can still come through. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'm going to show you guys the things I did get on consignment first. Which it wasn't too many items, but check it out. I got this cool shadowless poster. Now, I've seen this opened up before, but this one is sealed. So I'm curious to see where something like this goes. See, the borders have been removed. These aren't first edition, but yeah, original. It's kind of cool. Got a black label Cliffa. Now, I did not realize that this special illustration rare was fairly expensive on the English side. I had a couple of these that were pulled out, and I had them graded at CGC. They pulled a 10, and they were worth over $100. But that was on the English side. I'm not sure the Japanese side. And of course, with the black label, I mean, prices just go nuts. So I'm curious to see where this will go. And then we also have this right here. We have a base set Charizard. Still probably one of my most individually requested cards. Just any base set Charizard. So I don't know what an 8 is worth right now. I would assume $700 range. That's just a guess though. I haven't bought any. It could be up with the latest boom, or could be pretty stable. Maybe even down a little bit. Who knows? So if you look for those in auction, they'll be up for sale. All right, next up, if you guys were in my live Tuesday night, you probably heard me talk about how I got pretty hammered on some of these Pokeball reverses from Terrestrial Festival. However, I still did get some pristines. And I think what I need to do, I probably need to go back and retake the scans, because you see how it's got this cool foil to it. It doesn't really show up on my scanner on the settings that I have, but yeah, I kept one of each pristine that I might have gotten, some of the hollows too. Now there weren't a crazy amount compared to the amount that I set in. I was hoping to do a lot better, but I'm going to slowly start picking them up. And maybe I'll get to have a complete set. That's a non-hollow. There were stacks of each evolution that I sent in, and there were still some evolutions that I did not get a pristine 10 in for the non-hollows. It was pretty bad. Now I've got plenty more that I can submit. Flareon, it's pretty cool. None of these are Master Balls. I think this one looks really good. The pristine 10 looks really nice on the Iron Thorns. Some of these cards, they got 8s and 8.5s. I was putting them on eBay for $11.99, free shipping. And if you're wondering, those are automatic losses no matter what kind of discount that you have. You're not making money when you submit a card and you have it graded, and then you put it on eBay, free shipping, $11.99. There's no way around it. And I did have a handful of trainers as well. Trainers they were about the same. They did fairly poorly overall for what I submitted, but I think what I did find that towards the second half of the Pokeball reverse hollows that I submitted, I got a lot higher 10 rate, and that was because I was pulling out duplicates that I had that had bad centering. So Japanese doesn't always necessarily mean pristine 10. It is smart to do more of a pre-check than what I was doing on those. So I'm gonna take accountability for that part of it. Oh, I didn't even notice this was blowing my face. This is still from the live. If you are interested in heavy vintage packs, I do have some on the site. This is something that I used to sell quite a bit more of. I used to open them up quite regularly as well for customers. But we've got heavy Gym Challenge and heavy Japanese base. But here's another card that I bought a few of. Got the Mewtwo V from Pokemon Go. I thought for $100 and a 10. It was a pretty nice card. It's definitely the best card from Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go started to see an uptick. It was flooded out to the market for the longest time. And I do like the artwork. So I picked up a few of those. The Mewtwo and Mew GX. SM191. One of my favorite artworks. This actually comes from a 10. And this one was sitting at 300. I bought 4 or 5 at that price, so it probably temporarily shot up, a little bit more than that. But unless you see some kind of big market movement, then I have no indication to think that this card is going anywhere in price. It's been around for a long time. All right, we've got the Lugia V. This is another one this is actually the one from Z&G. It took the longest to come in. James. He had sold me one of these too. Which, honestly, I don't care how long it takes to come in, as long as it's, within a month, and I get the stuff for sure, because I want to make sure that it comes in. But for the most part, I'm just setting these back. I like to have, the 10 is a nice number for a card that I like just to have set back for like modern stuff, or at least that's what I'm playing into. You'd think that I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of this modern stuff, but I don't. Most of what I have is vintage, and I got to looking at it, and it's like, there are some really cool artworks that I like, and so I'm going to try to just buy a few cards that I like and set back, about 10 of them, and we'll just see what happens. If it does go up significantly in price, I can still sell off a few and keep the rest, or keep one and keep two, and still have something in my personal collection. Because that's, the thing with my vintage stuff. If I sell a Light Arcanine from Neo Destiny First Edition in a PSA 10, yeah, that's a lot of money, but now I broke my set, or now I don't have that card, and I'm probably not going to be buying it back, at least until I see it for a really good deal. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. There are several artworks out there that I really like that, anytime I got them in, I was like, oh, it's modern, I'm going to sell it. But I'm going to change that up with a few cards, as long as they're at price points that I'm willing to pay. This is another card that I do like. I realize this isn't some kind of special artwork or anything like that, but I like the Arcanine and the Gyarados from the set. The Gyarados I like a little bit more, and I think it looks really good with the Pristine. This is the Japanese version. I do not have any of the English ones yet. I don't even know how much those are, so probably something that might be a card that I look into. All right, next up, again, this is a card that you guys know is one of my favorite artworks on any card, and so anytime I get a Pristine in auction or graded for this specific Charizard, I just set it back. I have not sold any of these. I've only got a few on the English side, and compared to how many I've graded, like it is not an easy grade. Sylveon VMAX. This is the one that Z&G got the advertising on me with the FOMO. He showed where they had went auction for $600, and I put in offers for $550 on several of them on eBay, and some sellers took me on that offer. I'm not sure if it's went up or down since then, but I would imagine it's probably still around the $600 price range, maybe a little bit up. If they're going for $600 in auction and they're already in buy now for $600, then there might be something to people actually having a higher demand. They just don't realize that they could go and buy it now instead of getting caught up in the moment with the auction. There's another Mewtwo V, and then I also picked up the Japanese version in a Pristine 10 because I thought that looked pretty good too. All right, then last but not least, I'm going to reveal my price to you guys. You can make fun of me all you want in the comments. It is what it is. We've got the Umbreon SIR. Z&G actually called this the Sunbreon. That's not a sun, right? Am I crazy? This is still a moon. I thought this was still a moon. I thought this was just another Moonbreon, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I didn't buy one. I actually bought 10. I got 10 from the same guy, Retrospecs. You guys have heard me throw his name around a few times. Very reputable. Trust the guy. And the prices that were on eBay at the time that we agreed to a deal, they were about $850 or so. And, well, they were probably $800, $850, something like that. And I wanted to buy 10 of them, and I was able to pick them up at $735. I think that was the price that we ended up agreeing on for all 10. One, it's nice to get everything all at once and from the same place. You just get it in once, save some time, save some effort, and I was getting them for a discounted price at that time. Now, I knew that the prices were very likely to come down. They had already shot up because they were around $500 when they first started coming back. They shot up. I pretty much bought at the peak, or the peak for now anyways. But prices have already come down, so that if I went to buy this today, this would only cost me about $650, and that's just like a straight buy now, free shipping from Japan to my doorstep. So I could probably get them for closer to 600 if I waited and looked at some of those auctions, which I've seen some auctions already, over the 600 mark, but there's so many auctions underneath the $600 mark. I think people can see, this has already started to come back quite a bit. Now I've thought about making this a higher quantity card that I invest in, but I'm kind of just trying to be a little bit patient now. I've got 10 that I want to sit back for my personal collection. So you don't want to get caught in this trap. Well, I bought it at 700, so why don't I buy another 10 at 600, 500, so forth. And that can work, but you really have to have a strategic way of, if you really believe in that card, like how long term do you plan to keep it? Because Terrestrial Festival could have so many more reprints. The boxes could drop to 45. You're talking about a card that if it's dropped down $100 in just a week, $200 in just a week, I mean, it could drop down quite a bit, significantly more. So you definitely would not want to leverage yourself on a card like this if you're trying to buy into it. And thinking that it's the next Moonbryon, that could also be a fallacy. Like what happened in Evolving Skies may not ever happen again, right? We may not have a card like that one. We had the Latias and Team Up. You got the Umbreon Evolving Skies. Sure, there's probably going to be something else that comes along that does that, but you can't just assume that's going to be your card or a card that's very similar to the one that just come out. So I like this card. I've got mine set back for my personal collection. These plan to sit. I plan to let them sit there for a long time. Will I buy more? I don't know. I mean, even though the price is lower now, I have no problem waiting and seeing how the market plays out, seeing how the reprints go, because I feel very confident that this card will continue to come down for a while. It may not. I can't guarantee that. Nobody can guarantee that. But I do realize that when I bought these, I probably bought them at the peak. But just in case, I wanted to grab 10, set them in my personal collection, and I knew that I could get them all from the same place, which was kind of cool because some of them were sequential. You got 29, 30. I don't think there's actually like any kind of premium for this sequential thing. It is kind of neat to see. Like I saw somebody who had, there's a 13. Well, there's the 28, 21, 20. I saw where someone had the entire Evolution line sequential in a 10. Now that's kind of cool. I don't know how doable that is or what kind of premium it would bring, but it definitely doesn't hurt the price. But anyways, let me put these up because I'm not trying to like shield those up or anything. In fact, I think I'm doing the opposite. I'm shielding them, like saying they're going to keep coming down. But just for a minute to talk about the market, all of my pack prices, they've kind of leveled out on like how much they're increasing. But I will say this, since the last time I talked to you guys about pack prices except for Prismatic, so like, and 151, pretty much every pack has went up but these two. Like this, it's went up not much, but they've kind of steadily continued to increase. But Prismatic and 151, I think this has mainly come down because of Blooming Waters. It released, you had a lot of people buying it from places like Costco, Sam's Club, maybe Walmart. I mean, I don't know where all they were getting them, and then they would resell them on the market. So the prices for 151 had actually gotten over $11 on TCG Player, or they had when I had checked. I don't know if that was like an official point that made it for that day, but the last I checked, they were around $8, $9, something like that. They'd come down, and then they're also for the February 7th release. That's when distributors are sending out the Blooming Waters to people like me or anybody else who has distribution.